The Disney Channel has an infamous history of recruiting promising and talented child actors, only to find their post-Disney career as troubled, substance-abusing, mentally troubled young adults. This brings us to the question, is Shia Labeouf, who originally made his acting debut in the year 2000 as Louis on the Disney show Even Stevens, another case of a Disney star gone bad, or is there genius behind what most would mistake for madness? Labeouf has long been in the public spotlight, and I could talk about him for hours. His roles in Even Stevens, his voice role in Surf's Up, and his excellent performance in the film Holes made him one of the biggest young stars on the planet, leaving a huge imprint on my childhood and I'm sure many others of you out there. He also cameoed in some memorable other pieces of media, including Saturday Night Live skits, killing a freestyle rap performance on Sway in the Morning, and making a very surprising cameo at the end of Shia Labeouf Live, a viral YouTube sensation made by Rob Cantor. This transformed Labeouf into somewhat of a living meme, seen on Facebook pages such as Shia Surprise and various Reddit threads. I personally love this video and see it as one of the most creative yet ridiculous pieces on the internet, but all in all, it is a whole lot of fun. Labeouf's rise to fame also set in motion his downfall, with roles in the divisive Transformers films and the much-maligned Indiana Jones film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. These roles threw Labeouf into the international spotlight, and like many before him, Shia did not handle the fame perfectly, which was a great disappointment to his legion of fans. More recently, Labeouf has tackled some smaller-scale films, such as American Honey and Man Down, while also taking roles in acclaimed films such as Fury and Lawless. This is a refreshing change for Labeouf and has improved the overall perception of his acting ability to now being regularly seen as one of the better dramatic actors going around. Recently, his acting chops are being noticed more, and I, for one, am so glad that he is getting the recognition for his talent that he does deserve. He faced some noticeable issues off-camera, with multiple arrests and paparazzi issues. He had seemingly moved on from these issues until he was recently arrested as part of his We Will Not Be Divided project, an on-camera protest against Donald Trump's leadership. With his off-camera antics, it's easy to label Labeouf as a menace and forget about his achievements. However, is there a reason for his madness? Is he in fact a metamodernist genius? For Shia to be a metamodernist genius, we first must define metamodernism, and we have to discuss whether Labeouf's actions can fit these definitions. Metamodernism can be explained as the middle ground between modernism and postmodernism, emerging as a direct reaction to observed flaws in postmodern philosophy. Metamodernism embraces and rejects both mindsets, seeking to create something greater than both. It mainly stems from an exhaustion with postmodernism's cynicism and rejection of greater meaning, while accepting its persistent questioning of societal standards. The result is often something that oscillates between modern and postmodern, sometimes sincere and ambitious, and other times playful and fatalistic. Sometimes both at the same time. In essence, where modernism is about evolution and growth, and postmodernism is about questioning and skepticism, metamodernism is about naivety and failure. Shia Labeouf's disdain for postmodernism philosophy is directly mentioned in his piece, Interview. He directly critiques the work of postmodernist prophet Kenneth Goldsmith. Interview, Stop Creating and Start Creating all demonstrate his metamodern views, while his other notable art pieces have had a massive cultural implication, whether it be becoming a living meme through Just Do It or Reflections, or by providing a commentary on fame as seen in I Am Sorry, The World We Live In, or even his own film career as seen in All My Movies. All My Movies is probably my favourite of his performance art pieces. He evokes a sense of nostalgia every time I see him, and demonstrating his own nostalgia in regards to his career somewhat humanises a seemingly inhuman presence. This serves as a reminder that celebrities, they're just like us, able to experience the same emotions of pride, embarrassment, joy, and nostalgia. Labeouf described his metamodernist transformation in the lead-up to Interview, and then let out his excitement about the process. It started as a genuine existential crisis. I made another short film with another person's idea, took it to Cannes and never properly accredited him. I was in hot water looking for ideas to back my play. I found Kenneth Goldsmith and made contact at the beginning of January. I ran with that concept for a while, but that very quickly led to a dead end, in that it didn't truly match my sensibilities, or at least not all of them. I am a deeply ironic, cynical person. I was raised on The Simpsons and South Park. It's my default setting, which is why uncreative writing and Goldsmith felt right. What was missing, however, was the hopeful, the sublime, the fantasy God, not the hallelujah God, but something. The God is dead shit never sat well with me. I like how immediate, fresh, and unedited it is. It worries me that it can potentially become just an interview. I like the voyeurism aspect as well. Like, holy shit, I'm reading the personal emails. Although they would not be sure whether it's a real email exchange, or whether we made it into this for Dazed, intentionally raw and unedited like I Am Sorry, they would not know if it's manipulated or not, the being John Malkovich of interviews. Labeouf explained in Interview why he felt the need to change from just being an actor, venting his frustrations about the industry and the death of his charisma. And personally, I feel bad for Labeouf. He came into the industry a fresh-faced kid, and it's fair to assume his career has suffered from meddling producers and studios, explaining his more recent turn to indie films. Finally, one of the most puzzling Shia art pieces was known as Meta Marathon, which was simply running laps around a building. Shia explains the piece saying that it's meta-modern in that it says, yes, I know I look like an idiot with these pants on, and yes, running around the same building for hours is stupid, and yes, people have run distances like this and more before us, but that does not mean this isn't serious. It's meta-modern in that it deals with the coexistence of the static and mobile redemption and restitution. It's redemption through suffering and suffering through strengthening. It's sincere and ironic, public and private, intimate and open. That may make him sound like a madman, but I believe there is genius in there. We have only scratched the surface on Labeouf's work, barely touching upon even the most famous piece he did, which was Reflections, best known for the Just Do It meme. However, his works show him to be a metamodernist artist, a free spirit who just wants to create, which is an ideology that I salute. However, whether you think he's a genius or not is up to you. Let us know in the comments.